Base is dropped, and of course I'm trying to figure out where my picture is, and if I'm I don't know, did this, then there we go, we're back, kind of, sort of, maybe. John here, you there. 3 days, 36, 37 hours or so of live TV talking high school football. Thanks to everybody that was part of our SDH family that was hanging out with us and was watching high school football, and like the Intergalactic Championship with Carrollton and Buford, all the things. That was high school football. We can talk about that if you want for the remainder of the week. I'm here today and tomorrow, and then once again, we're just picking right back up as normal. Busy show today, Power Hour and hour number 2. It's our buddy Nino Torres from GOLTV. We'll see what Nino Damas has on his mind in South America and in Europe. Our buddy Niko Moreno from Pulso Sports and Sounder at Heart comes in second half hour, last half hour of the show. There's a lot of movement going on in Major League Soccer. Today is draft day. Happy draft day for those of you who celebrate. Might get into that a little bit as well. If you missed the conversation Jason had with Jose Silva, now that Silva Ball continues with Atlanta United 2, that is up on the network as well in its various forms. We got stuff to talk about in the second half hour because we got to talk about Enzo Maresca. We got to talk about Wilfred Nancy. We got to talk about all the things. But first, batting leadoff, wasting no time. Of course, for him, it's lunchtime, so it's pretty easy for him. Liam Fox, the new man in charge with what is going on in Jacksonville at USL in the USL Championship, sporting JAX HC Liam. I even have the proof right here. It's like right there.
Love it. Nice.
New head coach at Sporting JAX. First and foremost, congratulations on the new gig. I got to ask all the important questions here. So my first question for you is, what attracted you to this gig in the first place? Why come over from where you're sitting right now, hop on a plane, pack up everything, come onto this side of the Atlantic? Why? What was your why for this move?
I think it was quite simple for me, John. It was just the unique opportunity of building a club from the ground up, from almost ground zero, day one. And it just captured me straight away. And there's also some really good people there. Lovely part of the world. New experience for me, new culture, new football. So probably taking myself out of a kind of comfort zone in the UK here. So that was a couple of the main reasons for taking up this opportunity. Incredibly delighted that I was selected to do it. Hugely privileged, but a lot of work to do. But super excited for what's coming.
How much scouting, advanced scouting, how far back into the Wayback Machine did you go to do research on USL Championship to understand where the league is, where it's going, where it's coming from, what their plans are? How was your book about that thick when it came to all your intel on USL Championship in general going into these conversations?
Yeah, listen, whenever you come into a new job, there's a lot of work to get done. There's a lot of homework to get done. You do your research. I was obviously hugely aware of the USL before. I've had a number of friends that have worked in the USL. I believe it or not, I actually came to a few USL games last year. I was out visiting one of my friends in Boston, Mark Spalding, and he'd previously worked with Memphis in the USL. So I came out, watched a couple of games. You can see how quickly and how much the league is developing year on year, month on month. And I've watched a lot. I've went and watched all the teams, all different styles, different coaching techniques, the amount of players, the different types of environments that you're going to be playing in. So listen, I'm well versed. I'm well schooled up, but really looking forward to hitting the ground running. We report back on around about the 20th of January, so we've got work to do before then. But again, just brilliant opportunity for me. Really excited.
For those that may not know philosophically how you are, but I mean, they may have done research and looking at you with your time at Hearts and the other places that you've set up your shingle. How would you break down what folks are going to anticipate when it comes to the on the field product there in Jacksonville? Because I mean, this is year one of something. This is coming out of the blocks with something. you've got to kind of hit the ground running. You're in player assembly right now. There are a couple of signings that have already been made. For those that may not know your CV, how would you break down what you like to have happen on the pitch and have it translate into wins and successes?
Yeah, I think it's really difficult to give you in one sentence, but I'll do my very, very best. But I
Look,
think
we got time, Liam. We got nothing but time. You can break it all down, brother.
I think when you look at anybody's career, there will be high points and low points through your career, and these experiences shape you. I think probably one of the most important things for me is that I like my teams to be exciting. I like them to be attacking. I like them to play with speed. I like them to play on the front foot. So we've got to go and recruit people that fit these profiles. And ultimately, like you say, we're a brand new start. We've got a lot of obstacles in our way. We want to hit the ground running. We want to be the best version of ourselves that we can. But we understand there's going to be challenges in that. There will be challenges. But yeah, sort of like old school values with sort of modern techniques. That's how I like to try and frame it. But ultimately, I want it to be exciting, and I want people to come and enjoy and look forward to coming to watching the team play. And if we do that, and we perform and we pick up results, then I think hopefully the community can get behind us. So yeah, and one sort of strap phase, old school values with new school techniques.
Nothing wrong with that. When you go through your career, I mean, this is part of ground up. This is like, ringing up Steve and Mark Warburton, and it's like, this is like ground up building a home and a subdivision and whatever. I mean, have you always thought of yourself as a builder, or is this something out of your own comfort zone where, hey, yeah, I get to build something?
Yeah, I don't think you can ever see yourself as a builder. I like to think that I'm a developer of talent, developer of teams, developer of individuals. But again, part of the uniqueness of this opportunity was back here in the UK. Like, I've just left Hearts, and Hearts have got 150 years worth of history. So this is totally new, totally unique. Listen, I'm learning as I'm going as well. I'm not going to sit here and say to you, oh, I've got this locked down, we've got this locked down. That's not how it's going to be. But I think you have to come in with an open mind, with open eyes, and be comfy, being uncomfy and being adaptable. So I think these are traits that I'd like to think that I have, so which will help us. But again, it's back to that uniqueness of the opportunity.
So when you are coming into something like this with USL with the USL Championship and Sporting JAX, I mean, how do you keep the pressure of expectations off to the side, knowing that you want to succeed over time? And I know that everybody kind of is wrapped up in instant expectations and things like that from a fan perspective, but how do you balance the idea of the instant expectation, both internal and external, with the idea of trying to be patient with a build? Does that make any sense?
Yeah, no, it makes total sense. I think first and foremost, nobody's going to put more expectation on themselves than me, because when I do something, I want to do it properly and I want to do it right, and ultimately you want to be successful at it, and that probably involves winning a lot of games. Now, in any given sport, but especially soccer, you're playing against other teams who want to win. You're playing against some very good players, some very, very good coaches. So it's never just quite as simple as oh, we're going to turn up and we're going to win. So there's a lot of things that need to come into that: the recruitment of players, the environment that we create. So these are all challenges, again, all different various challenges that any manager will have to come up and come up against. But you've got to believe in what you do. I believe in the work that I've done previously to this point to get me this opportunity. I'm really, really clear on how I see the team functioning, which helps. So some people get a bit stressed about recruiting players and going from having absolutely no players to probably around about 23, 24, 25. People see that as a real challenge, and it is a challenge. But it's something that because I'm clear on how I see the team functioning, it's actually become cleaner and clearer for me, because I know exactly how I want the team to be. So I've got the end goal in my head. I've got the process to get it there, and it's just making sure we get the right people in the right areas. We make sure the training environment's really, really important to me. I'm a big believer in you don't rise to the occasion, you descend to the level that you train at. Very famous quote from the Navy SEALs. So that's something that that is always in my thinking about making sure that we maximise every day that we've got on the training pitch. And if we do that and we create the right environment with the right people, hopefully, with a wee bit of luck, because you always need a bit of luck. We can't forget that. But again, managing expectations. So I repeat, nobody's going to put more pressure on themselves than me to be successful.
Liam Fox, the new man in charge at Sporting JAX, hanging out with us, batting leadoff here on Thursday Thoughts on the SDH Network and SDH AM. How big is your database when it comes to players that you sit there and it's like, ooh, I like that guy? It literally, your nose is pressed up against the shop window and like at Harrods, man. You're just kind of like this and looking at what it looks. How big is your database? Are we talking like 3 inches of a ring binder here?
Yeah, double that. Double that. Yeah, so there's a lot of players. And also, I think with the USL, with being in Jacksonville, with being in Florida, again, I repeat, a lovely part of the world, that spikes people's interest as well. But you need to make sure that they're coming for the right reasons, and they want to come for the right reasons. That they want to improve. They want to be part of a hungry culture that wants to and ultimately that wants to win. So. Yeah, you can imagine my phone has blown up over the last 4 or 5 weeks with people interested in, and ultimately everybody's got budgets, and I'd love to be able to go and sign X, Y, and Z, but we've got to live within our means, and we've got to make sure that we manage that properly. But ultimately, it's about getting good people first and foremost. So I've spoken to a lot of players over the last 4, 5, 6 weeks, and I don't mind sharing that there's been 1 or 2 that I've just said, no, you're not for me because of the way you are. That good people. Yeah, it's really important that good people, and then whenever they get to this stage, they all have attributes, and it's about picking the right attributes to get the right blend for the environment and the culture, because that's really, really important to me.
So when you have questions, I mean, obviously your phone's been blowing up, and I imagine it's been blowing up from here to Saturn and back, getting, messages and WhatsApp and everything. A, congratulating you on the gig. B, wondering how they can help. C,
Yep.
I'd like to. It's like, C, how can I be a part of this? D, how can I be a player for you at Sporting JAX? When you have a question outbound, who is on your short list when it comes to dialing folks up that you can sit there and ring that person up? They're going to pick up the phone, and you go, look, man, I got a question about this, or this, and that they can help you through it. Who are your bartenders in this situation?
Yeah, I'm quite fortunate. There's quite a lot of people that I can pick up the phone to, and I can ask different questions to different people. But I think ultimately, when you get to this point, it's really, really important that you're confident enough in yourself to be able to pick up the phone and say to somebody, listen, I've got this situation. What do you think? What would you do? What would your experience be? But ultimately, it's got to be me that makes the final call on it. So Mark Warburton's a fantastic, first of all, fantastic human being, but also the level and the experience that he's got in the game. To have him on my speed dial just to say, Mark, listen, I'm thinking about this. What do you think? And Mark can sometimes throw me something left field. He can, no, that's okay. But ultimately, it comes back to me having the confidence and the belief to make the decision. But again, really fortunate with the people that I've got, both here and in the States. And sometimes it's important not just to go to football people. Sometimes it's important to go to people in other walks of life who, do you know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely.
It can't always just be, oh, I've got in a situation on this, let's go to a football guy. Because sometimes different walks of life, different career paths throw different things at you. And listen, I don't have all the answers, so I've got no problem picking up the phone to people and saying, can you give me your opinion on this? Can you give me your opinion on that?
Because real world doesn't necessarily just lock itself into athletics. I mean, you could sit there and it could be some guy that, runs their own business, whatever the business is. I mean, it could be, it could be one of the most successful, pubs that you go to. And it could be like a chain of like 900 pubs or something. And, hey, how did you do this? And how are you navigating all that? Yeah, because real world can affect what you can do in athletics just as much.
Yeah, absolutely. And take my group of school friends that I've been fortunate enough to know them now for near enough, probably 35 years. Some of them have their own businesses. So everything can be relatable. It's about people, and ultimately it's about managing people and setting the culture, setting the boundaries, setting the guidelines, pushing. And I talk quite a lot about engaging with players, challenging players, and then supporting players. These are 3 things that are consistent in how I we'll give information, we'll pass information, and we'll preview and we'll debrief. So you've got to be able to engage with them on a human level. You've got to be able to talk to them. But you've also got to be able to poke them and prod them and push them and demand from them. And ultimately, they have to know that you're there to support them in moments, and they're going to make mistakes. We're all going to make mistakes. So that becomes really important. For me, it's about managing the people. The tactical side and the periodization side, that can change. And the greatest thing about football is there's no right and there's no wrong, but you've got to find a way that fits for where you are at that moment in time. So being flexible and adaptable off the back of, contradicting myself here, but I'm really clear on how I see the team functioning. But how you get that to the end point, you're going to have to be able to adapt with different personalities, different cultures, different beliefs. So yeah, that's the challenge, but it comes down to managing people.
How long did it take you to become comfortable in your own skin as both a coach and as a navigator of people?
A bit of time. Yeah, I'd love to sit here and say to you that it happened overnight. It definitely didn't. I've probably been coaching now near 11 and a bit years. Finished my playing career early due to a bad hip injury. And then when you finish playing, when you're an experienced professional, you think you know the game. You think you have the answer for everything. You think that, I should have done this, we should have done that. But it's not till you come over to the other side that you don't really know the game. And it's taken me this long period of time to get to the point where you've got to be comfy in yourself. You've got to accept that you're going to make mistakes. I think having some difficult experiences over the last sort of 11, 12 years is really important. And there's nothing, you're going to go through that. It's elite professional soccer. There's going to be difficult periods, but it's how you talk a lot about resilience and being able to bounce back from how are you going to react. My dad, best bit of advice I ever got, my dad used to say to me when I was younger, and I would be mumping and moaning about things, and he'd say, well, what are you going to do? You can sit here and mump and moan about it, or you can actually do something about it. You can learn from it. And I've tried to take that with me everywhere I've gone. There's going to be mistakes, there's going to be difficult times, but what we're going to do about it. And that's a characteristic that I hope will be evident in the playing group this season.
And I mean, I know that most of your playing career was at Livingston, but you've had a lot of your coaching time is at Hearts. And anybody that knows about Hearts history, where there were times where a lot of folks might be thinking, yeah, man, they might be on death's door as a franchise. Absolutely. And so you get to, you're learning from, the absolute ground zero of how things can get rough. And now Hearts top of the table. Hey, see, now you're leaving Hearts in a good place, man. See that you're leaving them in a good spot. They're top of the table, and they're looking down at Celtic and Rangers this year.
Yeah, it's brilliant. I'm a Hearts fan. As I grew up a Hearts fan as a kid. So for me, one of my biggest disappointments was that I got really, really close to playing, but I never played. But when the opportunity came back to go start my coaching career there, I never ever thought that I'd get to the point that I finished the season where I was in charge of the football club. So to finish the season winning 4 games out of 4 is a huge thing for me. I've got no problem admitting that. And I think it's brilliant for Scottish football. It's not just Rangers and Celtic. There's somebody else that's upset the apple cart a wee bit, and long may it continue. And listen, if I've played a 0.1% part in that, whether I have or whether or not, that's for other people to decide. But it was a huge highlight for me, having been in charge of that football club for 2 interim spells last year, and finishing the season with four victories out of 4 was a big thing for me. So, yeah, they're in a good place. Long may it continue. Still wish everybody still got a lot of friends there. But my main focus now is making sure that we hit the ground running, and we hit the ground running fast come March.
And we can't wait to have you on this side of the Atlantic to see how you get to work things off with Sporting JAX. Do not be a stranger, Liam, under any circumstance. You now have the keys to the garage door. Look, keys are under the mat. You can know how to open the garage door anytime you want to come in and crash. It's like you're over here on. Well, actually, tell you what, even if you're over there still, and you're kind of sitting there and you're messing around, it's like, you know what, I got to get something off my chest. Then
good to know.
Literally.
Good to know.
Dial in and sit there and go, because we thrive in the chaos on the morning show. So whether you're there in a month when you're over here and building things at Sporting JAX, we're going to be knocking on your door. It's great to catch up with you, my friend. Congratulations on the gig, and we'll be definitely seeing you soon. Don't be a stranger, okay?
Thanks very much for having me, and I'll speak to you all soon.
you got it, Liam Fox, the new head coach at Sporting JAX and USL Championship. So it's that was cool. And you know, when you get to break things down that way, it's interesting to catch up with folks in their day number one. You can sit there, it's like, okay, new guy, new challenge, new franchise, all the things. And so we get to catch up with Liam, and that's great. And so Liam gets to finish up his Christmas shopping and find out what else he might have forgotten, because I'll tell you what, and I am that way now, considering I was 36, 37 hours of live TV over the last 3 days. I'm to that point of the calendar now where it's like, oh, I forgot to buy Christmas presents. Amazon and I are going to be fantastic friends. I will tell you that right now. Fantastic friends. Me and Amazon, we're going to be like, we're going to be, hey, can you help a man out a little bit? And I've got to do this on the hop. But no, it's great to catch up with Liam and the new man on the touchline for Sporting JAX. They do have a couple of signings that have come across the wires, and so it is first couple of player signings. They get to join up. It's Adita Armstrong, a defender, and attacking mid Luke Granitor. They get to be a part of the build now. Armstrong, after 4 seasons with all caps 2, otherwise known as St. Louis City 2 in MLS Next Pro. We always, because that city is capitalized, you always feel like you have to say city that way. So Armstrong, once again, 4 seasons at St. Louis City 2, began his playing career at STEM Prep in the 615 in Nashville. Son of Desmond Armstrong, former U.S. men's national team defender, 2012 National Soccer Hall of Fame inductee. So you have Armstrong coming in as well, and a Florida native of Vero Beach. Granitor comes in after his time at UNF. So he's an Osprey, and he gets to stay in market, captain to the 2025 ASUN championship team, and ended up with ASUN honors there. 3 seasons, 14-9, 34 points. Started his career at UNC, ACC top 6 for service award, developed in the OCB system, professional debut 2019, Montverde Academy, top 20 national recruit. Granitor is now in. So Armstrong and Granitor, they get to shake hands with Liam Fox in the next month when he comes over to this side of the Atlantic as the new man in charge for everything Sporting JAX. So we can't thank them enough for dropping by, and we will catch up with them in a bit. So as always, great to catch up with all the new hires and all the new things, and it's always great to see all of you folks this morning now that we're back. Now, let's see, where are we? I was kind of doing the opening kickoff-ish with all the high school football and stuff, and Ricky, it was thank you for that. I will say this. When it comes to doing everything with everybody there at GPB with the championships, I know that if you watch like from the beginning and you go all the way through to the end of things, you kind of notice that there's a point where Nikki Noto Palmer and I, we're just kind of like, where's the caffeine? We're flying off the rails. Not that we didn't fly off the rails when we were okay, but usually in day 3, we kind of get a little punchy on the desk. So I guess this is opening kickoff, brought to us by our friends at Kickoff Coffee and kickoffcoffeeco.com. Hit that QR code, start your day with Kickoff Coffee, and that's what you do there. You go with Kickoff Coffee and kickoffcoffeeco.com, buy out the store. That's what we want you to do. And then when you buy out the store, then you can do it at a discount using the code SoccerDownHere15, 15% off your purchase. They in turn take 10% reinvest at youth initiatives, brought to us by our friends at Kickoff Coffee and kickoffcoffeeco.com. Now, there's a point, usually in day 3, probably early afternoon, when you can kind of see the finish line, but it's far away, and things just kind of get a little punchy. And it's like words kind of stop forming. It's like you know what you want to say, but your brain's just kind of hit the emergency brake. And it's like, the parking brake on the car when you're in the driveway. The brain just kind of pulls the park brake, and you can't really find the words. They're there, and you want to speak them, and so you have to literally slow your brain down in a situation like this. Let me fix the camera because it's a little sideways. There we go. Yeah, so literally you have to kind of slow your brain down a little bit. Then the words start to come, and then you can kind of finish your sentences. Because the faster your brain wants to go in like day 3, the worse it's going to get. And it takes a little bit of recognition to sit there and go, okay, things aren't formulating the way that you want them to. And so then it's just like, okay, calm it down a second. Then we can dial it back. We slow the words down a little bit, and then you can understand what you're talking about. and they can understand what you're talking about. And to be perfectly honest, the world doesn't care if you understand or not. It literally has to do with, I need to understand the words that are coming out of your mouth. So slow it down. And that was what happened. That was what happened yesterday. Yeah, we early afternoon, Nikki Noto Palmer and I, we were kind of like, okay, it's going to be a bit of an adventure. But yeah, 37 hours ago, we ended day 2 after the Intergalactic Championship with Buford and Carrollton. That was about 12:30. And so I fell asleep about 3 because I can't really come down off of a game. And so then from there, it was, winding down, staring at computers and doing things like that. And then got up at 7, then had to be in the building about 9:30 for yesterday. And then it was another 13 and a half, 14-hour day. We went off the air, like, about 12:30, and then came back here. But no, it's one of the best crews in the business. I will match that crew up with anybody and everybody on twice on Tuesdays. One of the best crews in the business. And when you have for those of you who are local, and for those of you that grew up on TBS, the glory days of Braves on TBS, when it was Skip Carey, Ernie Johnson Sr., Pete Van Weer, and Joe Simpson, their producer was Glenn Diamond. Glenn, I'm not going to read that promo. He's my producer now. And to have Uncle Glenn in my ear is one of those geek out moments that you have as someone who grew up watching the Braves on TBS and watched the stuff that they did at Fulton County Stadium. But to have Glenn Diamond in my ear is an absolute geek out moment for me. And when Uncle Glenn comes on and he comes in the production truck and he hits a button and he goes, "Be brilliant." That to me, it's like, it just, it's for a kid that grew up in television and on television, having that kind of a moment, just, it sticks with you for a while. No, Rich. I am not wearing a Capitals hoodie. I am not wearing a Capitals hoodie, sir. That is not the case whatsoever at all. No. Not happening. No, this is what I try to do. As much as I would like to wear stuff on the air that would be current teams, I don't want that to be any kind of, idea of favoritism. So Rich thought for a second I was wearing a Caps hoodie. Nope, I'm a Kings person, and so if I wore a Caps hoodie as a Kings person, that would be kind of sacrilegious, and I'd probably have to turn in my fan card for my LA Kings. This is what I've kind of decided to start just to do in general. I will end up wearing teams that are dead, retro, or something in that vein. And so this is completely and totally random, that has nothing to do with soccer, but it was a hoodie that was close by, and I wore it, and I wanted to wear it this morning. So this is our dearly departed Vegas Vipers of the XFL. This is the XFL version 2. So, this is a Vegas Vipers sweatshirt, and I loved the design when it came out. And so, you'll see me wearing XFL teams that are dead. I've got all the retro soccer stuff. I added the LA Aztecs Ebbets Field flannels the other day. Look, when Ebbets Field has a 75% off sale, I'm going to grab it. Probably should have grabbed more, but I grabbed it. 75% off, I'll get that stuff. So anything dead in any league, I will wear it, because I also don't want to get in trouble with the logo police and the league police. And Rich, absolutely true, because it is RIP the Outlaws of Vegas. I have one of the Vegas Outlaws leather jackets from the XFL, the version 1 days, and I'm trying to collect all of them. I've got LA, Vegas, San Francisco, but it's got a big stain on it because I tried to go under an 18-wheeler and the oil from the axle just on top of it. And so I've got like 3 of the original 8, and I'm trying to get all of the original leather jackets from XFL version 1.0. So gradually working my way through those. So I've got LA, Vegas, San Francisco. Those 3 I have, and I'm working on the others. So if I can find them and I can buy them, and maybe the original league one too. But I try and wear dead stuff or old stuff or retro stuff, so that way I don't get in trouble, because I don't want this show to be like someplace that, you can't watch it or listen to it because John was wearing a logo and folks, had a trademark issue. Hey, he's wearing a logo on a show. I'll wear all the dead stuff. I'll wear all the retro stuff. I'll wear all the, stuff from other leagues. We won't have an issue with it. Okay. So there's that's the dressing down here for John. So now you know kind of where I'm at. If I could get away with wearing stuff with logos, like I said, the logo police hasn't come in to talk to us yet. But if it gets to that point, I don't want to get us into any trouble. So that's why I wear dead stuff or, old stuff, one way or the other. So that's opening kickoff, I guess. Brought to us by our friends at Kickoff Coffee and kickoffcoffeeco.com. There's your QR code for those of you hanging out with us right there. Start your day off. Hit that QR code. Start your day with Kickoff Coffee and kickoffcoffeeco.com. And what you can do there, you buy out the store. Then when you buy out the store, use the code SoccerDownHere15. You get 15% off your purchase. They, in turn, take 10%, reinvest it into youth games, youth initiatives brought to us by our friends at Kickoff Coffee and kickoffcoffeeco.com. Trying to hydrate as best I can, so make sure that we're okay. All right. Couple of things that we need to get into overseas before our buddy Nino Torres joins us at 10, and our buddy Niko Moreno joins us at 10:30. 10:30, Niko will talk about everything going on Major League Soccer, player moves, transfers, thoughts, patterns, Suarez, Dane St. Clair, draft day, Paul Rothrock, there's an update there. Folks moving in and out of Seattle. We'll get into all the player movement with Niko coming up last half hour of the show. We'll travel the world with Nino Damas coming up at 10 o'clock. So for the next 25 minutes, we'll kind of catch up on things. And it appears, and one of the things that bugs the ever-loving ish out of me, just in general this morning, has to do with what in the hell is going on with Celtic. And I've been kind of watching from afar because I've been locked into high school football. But with what is going on, and if things go a certain way, I may grab our buddy Chris Doran and find out what's on his mind about all of this. Because already, and this is from our friends at Talk Sports, so take this with as much as you wish. Headline: Celtic should get rid of Wilfred Nancy and bring back Martin O'Neill just 2 weeks after he departed the club. That's the view of Alan Brazil. Alan Brazil has the sports breakfast program that airs in their morning slot. So their version of SDH AM is Alan Brazil Sports Breakfast. It's a little earlier, their time. It's not quite mid-morning, but it's their morning show at Talk Sport. So Alan Brazil wants to get rid of, and he's not the only one, because if you look on social media at Celtic, they sit there and social media at Celtic is just like, really? They want to get rid of Wilfred Nancy basically after 15 days because it's been so horrible. Nancy announced back on December 3rd, replacing O'Neill, who'd stepped in on an interim basis following Brendan Rodgers' departure. Brendan Rodgers, by the way, getting the bag and heading to the Middle East. Good on you. Yeah, good on you, and good on you also for not sticking it out like you should. He's just like, yeah, I'm out. So Martin O'Neill takes charge 8 games. So 8 games after, during his spell, impressive 7 wins. Since his departure, and this is the wording from TalkSport, Celtic have collapsed. Losing 4 straight games under Nancy. Fans turning on him already. First time since 78 that they've lost 4 in a row. And Wilfred Nancy's under major pressure just 15 days into the job. Alan Brazil once again calls for Nancy to be sacked, referring to the manager's reaction to defeat at Dundee United on Wednesday night, where he said post-match that his side are on the right track. And so, of course, Brazil, being the bastion of even-keeledness, do I want to see a change at Celtic? Yes, I do. I would have another manager. I don't think he realizes what it's about. How can you say we're on the right track? Alan Brazil, for Alan Brazil, this is about par, don't get me wrong. But for the whiplash that you have in a situation like this, Martin O'Neill, caretaker manager. First off, I'd love to know what everybody thinks up there, with and when Jarrett comes in the next time that he's in on the morning show, we will have this discussion more from a Celtic perspective from Jared. And Jared is one of those lone voices of reason in this entire conversation. So everybody and their mother calling for Wilfried Nancy out after 15 days. I would have another manager. I don't think he realizes what it's about. Alan Brazil, frankly, needs to dial it back. Look in the mirror and think about that for a second, even though I know he won't. I don't think he realizes what it's about. It's a dream gig of his. It's your dream gig of Wilfried Nancy. I don't think he realizes what it's about. You don't have to be so haughty. He absolutely realizes what it's about. It is apparent that the folks that follow Celtic and have an outsider come in, obviously an outsider, he doesn't realize what it's all about. Give me a blanking break. It's a dream gig of his. He wouldn't have undertaken the challenge if he didn't want to. No, I think I'll just go to Celtic and get the bag. When they're not investing in players, when they're not patient with managers, and when you have a certain set. I mean, Brendan Rodgers even said, look, there were folks I wanted, and we couldn't get them. And so he jets. Wilfried Nancy, seeing the roster with what it is, I assume getting assurances from the board about future windows and such. Wilfried Nancy is trying to impart his philosophy with the players that are there, that he had no say in bringing. So for anyone to say that he doesn't, Wilfried Nancy does not realize what it's about, quoting Sherman T. Potter from MASH, horse hockey. Like I said, I'm trying to be kind. I'll leave the E rating to Jarrett next time he comes in. But the ridiculousness of assessments like this, you're trying to change an approach. You're trying to change a way on the field. You're trying not to be so Stone Age where you throw everything into a rock fight. Not everything should be rock fight in a phone booth. How's that working for you, by the way? And when you're not investing in players and when you're not fulfilling apparent promises that were made to managers previous, and Wilfried Nancy comes in with these players that don't fit his philosophy, and he's trying to get them to adjust, what do you think is going to happen? It's going to be rough sledding to start. Because literally, his first match was 3 days in. He comes over 3 days in, he's got a match, and it's in European competition. I would not expect all of this to be sunshine and rainbows out of the blocks. But, of course, everyone who is looking at things from the continent, obviously, if it's not an immediate result, as you're staring up at Hearts, and that was why I kind of asked Liam Fox, morning David. That's why I asked Liam Fox about Hearts. Right now, top of the table in the Scottish, in the SPFL. But Wilfried Nancy is stuck with this roster. What do you think is going to be happening with this roster, with a man in charge who's stuck with it? I don't think he realizes what it's about. Give me a blanking break. How can you say we're on the right track? That's what learning is. You learn from day one when you walk in the door. Hey, new boss. New boss has a certain way that he wants things to go for his business. Frankly, I can't wait till the first transfer window to see what the response is from the front office and from Nancy and see what he tries to do and who he tries to bring in. Don't be surprised if he makes phone calls back to this side of the Atlantic. More than he might be. Right now, it is stem the tide, calm things down, make sure that there aren't any more leaks that are going to be created in the dam, and manage this through to the next window. Then you get in the window. Then you can tweak a little bit. Then you can kind of hopefully advance what you want to do with your train of thought. You get through the rest of the season. Because of the split, you can still do some damage as long as you're still in the upper half. But the amount of panic and the amount of gripping over Wilfried Nancy, give me a break, people. Let the man cook. No, we can't have that. He's lost his first 4. Oh, no, the world is falling apart. You're just not used to being second looking up at Hearts. Imagine what would happen if you, invested. And again, this is also including Brendan Rodgers in this part of the discussion. Manager says, hey, I'd like to have these guys. Brendan Rodgers, after he quit and wanted to go get the bag in the Middle East, he's like saying, I had dudes that I wanted to get. I'm paraphrasing, obviously, but had guys he wanted to get. Conversations with the front office. They didn't get him. So he was stuck. He quit and left. Now, Wilfried Nancy has taken on this challenge. He does not play like the rest of you in that sandbox. It takes a while. We had the same conversation about Stephen Glass at Aberdeen. He doesn't play like you do. And Stephen got a raw deal at Aberdeen. Because everything in the SPFL seems to be based on the idea of kickabouts and boring you to death and maybe getting a goal here or there. If you're ever doing juice boxes on the SPFL on totals, take the under. For the most part. Unless you're talking about the edges. Because it is kickabout and it is get out after 90 minutes. When someone with an, progressive idea about how to turn around a franchise comes in the door after 4 games and you're losing your first 4, mass panic sets in. Oh, my God, it's the end of the world. Instead of wanting to, progress and grow, it's tiki torches and pitchforks, and you're charging the castle. If you want to be caveman ball, if you don't want to advance in European competition, which, by the way, is a separate round of painful if you're watching Celtic these days. I mean, even before Nancy was in the door. If you are looking at them right now, static kickabout is cool. Yeah, it's like, look, beige. For the most part, the SPFL is beige. Wilfried Nancy comes in wanting to paint pastels and outside the lines by comparison with a roster that isn't his, and you lose 4 in a row, and everybody's like, oh, my God, the world is ending. The world is ending. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? What are we going to do? Oh, let's sack him. Oh, that's a great idea. This is like when Forrest got rid of Nuno. And so then, morning, Knicks. Then you end up with Nuno at, well, first off, you go back as far as Steve Cooper, really. Steve Cooper at Forest had an idea. Then, of course, patience runs out with Evangelinos Marinakis, as it always does. Then Nuno comes in. We know what Nuno wants to do. Nuno turns Forest into a team with a strict idea of how they want to play. Very successful, get into European competition because of it, because of Evangelinos Marinakis wanting to invest and bring in the players that Nuno wants to bring in. Nuno got to have conversations with Marinakis. He brings in players. He says, I want to bring in these dudes. You get into European competition for the first time in, however many years it was. Then, as is always the case, patience runs out with a manager if you're Evangelinos Marinakis. Nuno goes away. So then instead of bringing in someone who can evolve what Nuno wanted to do, you literally go 180. It's the whiplash bit. So with the players that Nuno brought in and wanted to bring in, what do? You bring in Ange Postecoglou, who literally is 180 degrees from what Nuno Espirito Santo wants to do philosophically. How do you think this is going to go? Then, obviously, it's a train wreck of about 6 weeks. I think it was, 39 days? And then Marinakis freaks out. gets rid of Ange, brings in Sean Dyche. What should have happened if this was what you wanted to do to maintain after you have the fallout with Nuno, you should have skipped Ange and gone straight to Sean Dyche. But no, you want to go 180, bring in your boy, one of your friends, as has been said, who was diametrically opposed to your style of play. And you don't want to give him the time of day to develop. Right now, Celtic with Wilfried Nancy is Forest on steroids and 78 RPM. 15 days and we're having these discussions. For someone, and I know it's a morning show, and we're guilty of it too. I'm guilty of hyperbole just as much as the next person. But for someone to say, I don't think he realizes what it's about, that's silly. It's absolutely silly. Sick and tired of excuses. It's called building. Martin O'Neill admits he would, after he left Celtic, if he'd been asked to stay on the club, he would have done so. He was supposed to be a caretaker manager. He signed on to be a caretaker manager. And now let's just go ahead and rebuild the narrative. Yeah, if they'd asked me to stay, I would have. They asked you to be a caretaker manager. Brazil believed Nancy could have been the right option to become Celtic manager at the end of the season, but not this month. Brazil says they're not on the right track. Amount of possession we've got, we should be pulverizing these sides. Yeah. So who's that on? It's on the players for not finishing, not taking shots. Brazil continues. And like I said, I know I'm going down the morning show route with this, but to expose people who aren't thinking things through, once again, you got to put sunshine on. I don't know where I should go with this guy, as he shouldn't be here in the first place. At the end of the season, yes, when he can get his system out and work with him for a few weeks. Oh, okay, so it's okay to do that when the games don't count, but when you bring him in here on middle of the season and he's trying to work out his system in a league where you can really do, you can take care of business, because it's just like right now this season, Hearts, Celtic, Rangers, always. Usually it's a 2-horse race. I'm glad it's a 3. But the way Celtic have acted here, Martin comes out and says he would have stayed, it just doesn't make sense. He wasn't asked to stay initially. But now Martin O'Neill's kind of sitting there going, yeah, Ay. Morning, Knicks. Unbelievable. But it's believable. Gabby Agbonlahor, by the way, says, you got to give him a chance to get it right. Board haven't brought him in to save 4 games. It's not working. See you later. That's unrest. Look at the chances they missed yesterday. They had their shooting boots on. They score 4 or 5. Check. They'd have had 4 or 5. They would have. Absolutely. Like I said, Jarrett, when he comes in, he would agree to that. So then if the chances are being created by what Wilfried Nancy is teaching you, and you're not finishing, that's on Wilfried Nancy. I get it now. I see. Everybody's like, well, if they boot Wilfried Nancy after 2 weeks, then yeah, bring Martin O'Neill back in. Give me a break. Wilfried Nancy basically had a reporter's question. So they let it to break, lose eventually 2-1 to Dundee United. Once again, second in the Premiership, 6 points behind Hearts. Game in hand. So basically, if you win it, you're 1 win behind. Lost all 4 matches once again in a disappointment 2 weeks ago. Sky Sports after the match. Does this strengthen your resolve to get it right, or do you think, do you know what, maybe this isn't the right place for me? What the hell is that question? Really? You're asking a guy after this is grapefruits. I'll give the Sky Sports reporter some stones there. It's a stupid question. It's a reactionary question. But obviously, if you don't want to have the patience to turn something around with players that aren't yours, then sure, let's go ahead and we'll pack it in. That's a great idea. This isn't the right place for me. Honestly, I don't know. If I was a younger version of me, I don't know if I would have responded as calmly as Wilfred did. Wilfred goes, no, come on. Hey, I know the situation. Everybody wants to win. Me too. There is no problem with that, but I know that there is improvement. Context. Oh, my God, context. Wilfred Nancy actually tells the Sky Sports Report, and I'll try and find the sound. We'll play it tomorrow. Context. Just step back and have a look at the context. So, again, the idea is to see what we can do, what we need to do to improve the team, what we need to do to improve the players. And I think I am going in a good direction with the players. Because, again, today you saw that we had a good performance. This is not like we were off the record, no. Had a good performance, but in 3 minutes we lost the game. And for that moment, it's factual. This is the situation. Now, I can understand the fans are not happy with me, and I understand that. The connection with the fans, I want to have it. But for the moment, this is difficult for me because we don't win, so I can understand the situation. But again, if I look at the performance, we're getting there. Obviously, the result's not enough. But I am in place, and I'm happy to be here, and I'm going to do everything to help the team win games. 2-1 defeat to Hearts, 3-0 to Roma in Europa League, 3-1 loss to St. Mirren in League Cup. Return to action Sunday hosting Aberdeen before going to Livingston and Motherwell. 2026 is Old Firm against Rangers. Copy from Talk Sport. With all of these upcoming fixtures being must-wins for Nazi. Well, no, he actually wants to lose them all, by the way. But literally, I'm so glad that Wilfred Nancy went up to the reporter and said context. Because God forbid we should have that in a situation where you ain't the guy. You're being forced to make a meal. You're being forced to make a meal, and basically you just walked into the kitchen with what was left. Half-empty fridge. Milk that's probably past its expiration date, and you're wondering if 5 days out, 5 days past the expiration date, you're able to cook with it. That's what Wilfred Nancy's got right now. Wilfred Nancy has an ish kitchen, and he's sitting there and he's trying to make a meal for 20, and people are calling for his head after 4 straight losses in 15 days. Like I said, I'm glad that Wilfred Nancy decided to go context with the in-house reporter after the match. But seriously, calling for his head already. Not the right person for the job. He doesn't know what it means. That is the biggest load of ish. But obviously, since it comes out of a morning show, then I get the level of hyperbole. But I can also understand that to a certain level, that's what these folks think. If he ain't one of us, if he doesn't want to play rock ball, if he doesn't want to just sit there and go kick about and bore people to death, he actually wants to have a philosophy. But he's got to try and instill it on the fly with players that aren't his. Try to understand what these players do, who they can be, and try to fix the situation. Yes, of course, you're going to lose. But, as Gabby Bonlahor said, they had their shooting boots on, they would have scored 4 or 5 instead of losing 2-1. That ain't on Wilfred Nancy. He can't come out there and kick the ball for you. He can tell you what to do, but at the end of the day, it's on the folks that are out there. And I know that Jared will continue to make a play for Dyson Maida to bring him over here for Atlanta United. Could have had him for 10, I think. Probably could get him for a lot less than that now. But, yeah, the whole thing with Wilfred Nancy was one of the things that stuck with me as I was able to kind of look at social media a little bit over the last 3 days. But, yeah, I mean, it turned, and I apologize that it turned into the rant that it did, but context, as Wilfred says. I firmly anticipate that this will not be something that Celtic fans in Scotland will have. So you have that list of matches. You've got the match in hand where you're really only 3 points out of first. You win the match in hand, you're 3 points back of Hearts. as you're trying to install a system, as you're trying to sit there and say, okay, which players get it, which players don't, and which players do I need to move on, and what's my shopping list, and can my shopping list, do I actually get to shop at Kroger or Publix, or do I have to go to Walmart or Aldi? No offense to Aldi, but you go walking into or Lidl, I think one of those two. One time I went into I think it was an Aldi. I went into an Aldi, and it was one of the most bare bones things I'd ever seen. Literally looked like a storage cabinet, and they just had stuff that was kind of up 3 or 4 different sections of the storage cabinet. Nothing on the walls, nothing on the ceiling except lights. But that's the thing, is where does Wilfred Nancy get to shop? Does he get to shop at Publix or Kroger, or does he have to shop at Walmart or Aldi or Lidl? That's going to be the big question coming up into the January window. What's he going to be able to do? Is he stuck with what he's got, which makes the situation somewhat untenable because you're still having to make that damn dinner with what's left in the fridge, and you can't bring in your own ingredients. You can't go shopping for the big, loaves of bread or anything like that to make an appetizer to kind of distract people. No, we can't have that. Nope, not have it. Can't have it. Nope. Patience is not something that seems to be a virtue of our friends at Celtic. So, yes, I vented my spleen for 35 minutes about Wilfred Nancy and how stupid people are over in Scotland. I'm wired that way this morning. I'm cranky and I'm punchy. Or Piggly Wiggly. Nice point, Ricky. Absolutely true. Yeah. That was offense to, Ricky says, if it was offense to Aldi and Lidl. I should have said Piggly Wiggly. Yeah, probably. Knowing the board at Celtic, it probably is Piggly Wiggly. Okay. After 10 o'clock, I've filibustered enough. It's time to go down and check in with our buddy Nino Torres down in Lima, Peru, where we come in fully loaded. And sir, I sit here and I go, yellow, how you doing?
Yellow soccer down here, fans. We are absolutely fully loaded today, man. Special day for soccer. 3 years since Lionel Messi conquered the top of the world. And I got this for you, Johnny. I think we all should listen to this for a second or 2 or 3. Go. Last.
26 years since Maradona and Mexico. Here, finally, is a nation's new
Throne of Immortals. Oh my God, man, Peter Drury, you're the best in the business, brother, man.
Yeah, but we are worshipers at the altar of Peter Drury. Yes, we definitely love Peter and his calls. I can't. Wow, it's been 3 years. That just blows me away. We know that he's getting ready for one more round, and it's going to be fun to see how Argentina goes in this go round with the cup in the world that everybody is chasing. I'm not betting against them. I don't know what the juice boxes currently are, but I'm not betting against them, man. You want to walk up to Superman and stand on his cape and sit there and go, nah, bruh, not going to happen. No, I'm not that kind of person. I'm not that brave.
I am, but because as much as I love Messi, and he already has his share, right? But I think if the best way to end this glorious era that we've been living in with these two kings for the past 15 years, I'm asking to the soccer gods out there in the Mount Rushmore of soccer, to Johan, to Pele, to everybody, give Cristiano the last dance.
Whoa! Wow!
Yeah. If that happens, just picture the scenario, man. Messi wins one, he wins one, and that's it, man. They can go, we can go rest in peace, everybody, man. You got the best two players that we've seen in decades, and both of them winning the Euros, winning the World Cup. Messi winning the Copa America and winning the World Cup. It's for me. It's and Portugal. I don't know. We'll see, man. We'll see what happens. Anything could happen. That's my soccer wish for next year.
Okay.
All right. Even though Argentina is going to chase history, because nobody has done that since 1958, 1962, when Brazil won back-to-back titles. So they're chasing after history. They're absolutely locked in, and I don't know what's going to happen, but I really want Cristiano to win this one on his last chance, man. I do.
I don't know if his ego and his abs can fit in the same room with that trophy though.
There's room for that, man. There's room for that. I'm telling you, there's room for that. And I think, man, Cristiano, come on, brother. One last chance, comandante.
No, can't do it. Topic number 1. As I sit here, as we are after you see now, you're forgetting of the 3-year celebration from Qatar was actually your addition. You had an epilogue. You're like, oh ish, I forgot about something. Okay, Club World Cup was fun, but the Intercontinental Cup is the one that really matters. It was crazy, man. From what I was able to see, it was nuts.
It was, right. And I understand the business, right? The World Cup is fun. There's a lot of revenue. There's a lot of viewers. Teams from different countries, different conferences. This is like democracy of soccer, right? But it has their share of the of greatness. But CONMEBOL and UEFA are the best conferences in the planet. And you got the winner of the Copa Libertadores and the winner of the Champions League, and it's the best of the best. That tells you who is the best team in the planet right now. Okay, and that's PSG, and it also brought back all these memories, man. I was watching the other day the Nacional taking penalties with Romario, PSV 1988. And it was breathtaking, man. Then Piano playing on the snow in Tokyo. Man, this is, Boca Juniors beating Real Madrid with Martin Palermo, scoring a brace. I mean, it's just way too many memories, It's probably nostalgic for me, but still, even though with the World Cup of clubs, that was fun. I was so a big fan of it, but I think if we go down to business, strictly to soccer, to determine who is the best team in the planet, this is the Intercontinental Cup, and I think they can manage to keep both tournaments, man, because it's only one game, right? It's only one game. You got your World Cup of clubs. Everybody's coming. All right, that's fun, but we got the Intercontinental Cup, and I think it's doable. It's doable because it's not like, we're going to play another tournament. What are you talking about? No. Just one game. Go there for one game and call it a day, brother. Call it a day. And then you got the best of the two worlds. You got the World Cup of clubs and you got the Intercontinental Cup. I think it's doable. I think it's doable, man.
PSG and Flamengo go to 1-1 after 90. Kvaratskhelia scores past Agustin Rossi. Flamengo equalizes with Jorginho with 30 to go. Then PSG controls the rest of the way, goes to PKs, and the keepers, from what I understand, in the PKs were out of their minds in the PK.
PKs are fun, man. PKs are fun, and there's people. Can you believe that there's people? I think you're one of them, right? You don't like PKs, right? To determine a winner.
I want to go. I don't. Not immediately. I mean, I get it. I mean, give me the extra 30, then go.
You won the overtime and then PKs.
Yeah. I'm not anti PKs. It's just like, give me the 30. Look, if you're gonna earn it. Go the extra 30, and then if you want to go golden goal, you can. If you want to go extra 30,
I think that's the golden goal. I think we should bring that back, man. I was a big fan of golden goals because you score and it's over, baby. It's over. As soon as the moment you score, it's over. And then it brings a different level of adrenaline to the game. It's like the old school guys like me, you're playing on the streets. Are like, all right, one goal wins it all. All right, let's get it. Boom. Doesn't matter. They've been playing for 3 hours, man. You're going to play for one more goal, and that's it. The winner, whoever wins scores a goal, and that's it, man. And I don't know. I don't think it's going to come back, but it was fun when it was happening.
As a hockey guy, for me, You go in, you're playing the Stanley Cup, you're in the overtime period, overtime winner, you're done. I mean, it could take 6 overtimes, but when you get that, then
you get one
one goal, then you're done. So that, I mean, I can go, if you're going to do PKs, do it at the end of 90 plus 30. Give me golden goal. I'll go 90 since it's a competition championship, like Intercontinental Cup, like big dog title here. Give me 90, give me golden goal for 30, and then if you survive 120, then go to PKs. That I can take.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. I'm with you on that one. I like it. I like it.
All right. So now you have a new powerhouse in Liga Uno. Who that be?
Just no, but read the name. And read the name. It's fun because it's a combination.
Universitario del Valle.
I know. Hey, why, guys? Let me explain this to you guys. There's no such a thing as Universitario del Valle, right? The thing now is that Universitario Deportes has been in a roller coaster of negotiations with Jorge Fossati. In the end, the Universitario determined, like, you know what, we're not going to continue this path with you. So it was crazy because he resigned. I mean, they ended the contract on a Thursday night, and Friday morning, at 11 a.m., Javier Rabanal resigns from Independiente del Valle, and immediately they get the call. So everything was lined up, right? So so we're getting Javier Rabanal as the new coach for Universitario Deportes. Del Valle. Universitario Deportes, coming from Independiente del Valle. But the interesting thing here is that they were interviewing Rabanal, and hey, which place would you like to take with you if you gotta leave, or when you're gonna leave, or if you're gonna leave for Universitario, or if you leave to another team or nation? I'll take 8 players from this team, man. He said, I'll take 8 players from my team if I'm going somewhere. Well, there's not 8. No, we're not going to sign 8 players, but there's 2 players, essential players from Independiente del Valle. One is a striker, Claudio Paul Spinelli, and the other one is the secondary striker, Michael Hoyos. Absolutely golden if this happens, man. If Universitario can land these 2 players and the coach, it will be massive. It will be absolutely massive if we can get that done. And now it's crazy, right? People, you know what drives me nuts, John, is like we're especially journalists. I mean, you're talking to you're going to national TV and saying these things. I mean, do your research first, brother. Do your research first, right? Now, I know which is going to talk out of your whatever. And, and they were complaining about this, right? Why would you bring Javier Rabanal to Universitario Deportes? Universitario Deportes is not Independiente del Valle. You know, a coach like that might work in Independiente. You know, they have a small fan base. You know, like why MLS is not doing the way that Independiente del Valle is doing it? Did you check how many titles did MLS won the last decade? 0. How many times Independiente del Valle went into the finals of the Copa Sudamericana and won? How many Sudamericanas has Independiente del Valle? How many times they reached the finals of the Copa Libertadores? How many times Independiente del Valle won a championship in the last decade? Oh, I'm sorry. You said more than 5? Yeah. Oh, okay. So that might be working, right? Whatever Independiente del Valle is doing is working, right? Oh, yeah. On top of that, who is the team in Ecuador? And not just in Ecuador. I want to say in almost the entire CONMEBOL, but except Argentina and Brazil, they're the third ones with the most players sold to Europe from Independiente del Valle. Mo Caicedo sounds like something that a guy that you might know about it, right? How about Will Pacho? How about Piero Hincapié? Where those guys are playing? Oh, you said Chelsea? Oh, yeah. You said PSG? Oh, yeah. And they went to Europe but never came back, right? So that doesn't work for you, right? No, because that's not the Universitario Deportes way. But we are evolving. We're making progress. We try to be proactive. The soccer is changing. And if we're gonna compete, I mean, but truly compete with everyone else in Copa Libertadores and Sudamericana, you got to do something else. You got to do something better. And so Universitario Deportes with Álvaro Barco as the technical director, he's taking that direction. he's taking that direction. That's why they sent Manuel Barreto a couple of years ago. And actually, they went 3 times. They went 3 times to Independiente del Valle. Just, guys, what are you guys, what are you guys doing that is working? Just tell us, please, because I like the way you play. All right. So you want to learn? Oh, you want to learn? Yes, we want to learn. Boom. I spent 3 times. They went. They went 3 times for a month, and it was 3 weeks. A total of 90 days. Total of 90 days in the span of 3 trips to Independiente del Valle's house. And we like this. We can we get some of what you got? Yeah, go ahead, brother. Do your thing.
As long as the check don't bounce.
You're right. It's just that's called benchmarking, brother.
Mhm.
You guys, it's benchmarking. I like that model. I'm gonna adapt to that model to my technology, to my resources, and make it happen here. It might not be. That's why I say Universitario del Valle, because it's
Mhm.
mixed, So something in the middle, because we're not them and they're not us. So, but it's gonna work. It's gonna work. So to all those guys that are, Jesus, it drives me nuts, man. It drives me nuts because I call the league for the past 6 years, so I know about this league. I know about these teams, and everybody's talking about it. They bashing Michael Loyce. Oh no, you're gonna bring a 34-year-old. He's not fast. What?
That
First of
ain't-
all,
That
he's
ain't
not a
the
number.
point, brother.
He's not a number 9. He's a
Mhm.
secondary striker. He's a number 10. All right. And he, by the way, is one of my favorites. My favorite offensive players from that league for the past 6 years. So when I saw the name today, it was like Michael Loyce. Ooh, bring it on, baby. Where do I sign? Can I go? I can go get that guy, man. I take my plane right now and I'll go. Michael, come with me, brother. Come with me.
That's all. I mean, I need to
People
laugh.
complain. I mean, this is crazy, man.
Yeah, I know. People don't like growth. Yeah, I got into that discussion about Wilfred Nancy and Celtic this morning before you came in. I went on like this half-hour rant about people not wanting to be progressive, like the SPFL in general.
Why? Why not? This is like the way we are.
Right.
Well, the way you are, it doesn't work.
Right. But this is how we are.
No. Change it, brother. Change.
No, they're afraid. They're afraid of change. They are. And this was a story that I did notice while I was away from high school football in Ecuador, and it's getting to the point where it's scary now for players. You wanted to bring up the conversation about Mario Pineda and what happened in Ecuador, and just it's something to keep an eye on in general right now, but it's getting kind of scary.
It is scary now in Ecuador. There's a lot of there's a lot of drug lords in Ecuador, and there are a lot of hitmen, right? Hitmen he was unfortunately a victim of an attack, and he got shot, and Mario Pineda passed away. He was the left back for Barcelona, and right now it's not as bad as it's in Ecuador, but here in Peru we're suffering that too. I mean, it's a lot of extortions, and then people is dying every day, man. Every day I want to say in the past 2-3 years, the number of murders exponentially grown here in our country. The same in Ecuador. Okay, and they're going after the money. If you don't give them the money, yeah, all right, but they asking ridiculous money. Like, all right, they go to a business, right, mom and pop business, and oh yeah, you give us $10,000 a month, or you're gonna destroy your business. But this is, oh my God, brother. If I give you 10 grand, there's nothing left for me.
Yeah,
And then we don't care. You just pay the dues, or we're gonna destroy your business, or we're gonna kill your son, or we're gonna and this is crazy. And going back to the journalists, not aware of what they're saying, or not aware of the impact that they're having. When you go in national TV, this guy here in Peru said this because they were attacking different industries, right? the extortioners, they were attacking different issues. And he said one, they're like, hey, hopefully this doesn't get to the soccer players. Like, why are you giving ideas like that, brother? Are you stupid?
Yeah.
Why would you give an idea? Oh, look at that. That's a profitable business. We're not go and attack the soccer player now. My God. So this, of course, is part of what we're living now in this part of the globe. And I mean, it's so sad, and I'm so sorry. Rest in peace, Mario Pineda. Hopefully, nobody else.
Well, we'll keep an eye on it because we know that we have to. Biggest thing is just everybody be careful.
Sure.
2 topics left, and we'll try and turn it here. Then I'm going to go by your phrasing because, like I said, as for those of you watching this segment for the first time, I don't look at the topics until we start the segment. Nino will send them to me, but I don't look at them. So this is literally my first time looking at them, and I try to read it as he's written it. So here's how we go. Hey, Chiqui Tapia, how do you like my Estudiantes winning your tournament? Gracefully yours, Sebastian Veron. Was that close?
Yeah.
That's what happens when you're not on.
Isn't that beautiful, brother?
Running on 4 hours of sleep, brother. That's what's coming out.
It's just beautiful, man. It's the beautiful story in soccer, man. You know, the team that he didn't want to win because he had Sebastian Veron on the opposite side of his interest of Mr. Chiqui Tapia, right? Who's having business with Barraca Central and naming teams under his name and everything else. But you can move all the pieces that you want. You can buy referees. You can do whatever you want to do with the sanctions to Universitario. I mean, to Estudiantes. Universitario, my mind. Guys, this is why. This. You understand why? So they get a sanction for not honoring the guard of honor for the champion, right? That champion that came out of the office for Rosario Central. And there was a conflict of interests in there, right? Sebastian Veron, this has been a guy all his life, and he's been true to himself all his life. He doesn't care when he speaks his mind. He doesn't care if somebody gets offended or somebody. No. He's gonna tell you like it is. He's not gonna sugarcoat anything. And it was beautiful when he was, celebrating the title, and Chiqui Tapia was like, "All right, you should have seen his face, man. You should have seen his face. He was like, I don't want to be here. Why we're gonna do this?" But yeah, it is. This is the beauty of soccer, man. This is the beauty of soccer because it doesn't matter how many times you get burned or how many times things are not going fair on your way. So many times that people trick you or put obstacles on being just flat out corrupt against you. You're gonna have your time. You're gonna have your time that you're gonna win. All right. Payback time is always coming for soccer players and soccer clubs, man. It always comes. It doesn't matter, man. It doesn't matter. That's why this is why my prediction, that was for next year is I think it's going to happen that Cristiano deserves a chance, and I think it's going to happen, man. I threw Cristiano in there. Why did I do that? I don't know, man. I don't know, but I don't know. We'll see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no doubt about it. Yeah, we'll see. Mm-hmm. We go to Portugal for this last one. Sporting CP is getting Peruvian blood transfusions. Please explain yourself, sir.
Brother, I'm so happy. I'm so happy that they're looking into our league, man. They're getting young players out of specifically from Sporting Cristal. They signed a 19-year-old striker, Victor Guzman, this past March, I think. March. And now they're going after this, probably the best winger from the Liga Uno in the years to come. He's only 18, all right, but he made his debut at the age of 16 with Sporting Cristal. It's Max Loren Castro, okay? Max Loren Castro, who has been essential for Sporting Cristal. Only his second year with the team, he became a starter at the age of 17, John, man. it started at the age of 17, you're doing something good. You're
Mhm.
doing something good because they hiring players from different countries to play in that position, and you ended up winning the spot. Oh yeah, I'm gonna keep an eye on you, and it's electrifying. The kid is fantastic. Hopefully they shining. This my soccer wish also got me soccer wishes for next year. Man, what I'm gonna do, man? Santa Apes, brother, you gotta help me out here, man. You gotta play fair with me, man. I got so many soccer wishes for next year. And hopefully they shining. It's not final yet, but the I think the intentions are real. We'll see how much they getting from. I want to say, I don't know, probably 1.5, 1.2, around that, which is like a pocket change for Europe.
Mhm.
No, for us, but for us, it's big money. But if you get it for 1.5, I'll be happy. I'll be happy because that kid has a lot of potential in the years to come. He just turned 18 last week, man. So
Wow.
uh, he's gonna be great. I think he's gonna be great. And please, Sporting, sign this kid, please.
What are you calling for the next X number of days, sir? What's your weekend like?
My weekend is off because I got the games are on Monday and Tuesday.
Mhm.
Crazy, man. I was like, hey, what weekend? No, you're not off. It's Monday and Tuesday. We got Benfica on Monday, and we got Sporting on Tuesday. Those are the games that we're calling 3:45 p.m.
So they're not giving you Estoril and Braga. They're not giving you Gil Vicente Rio Ave. They're not giving you Estrella Moreirense, and they're not giving you AFS Nacional, Tondela Casapia, and Santa Clara Aruca. Those first 6 are out the door.
Yeah,
Nope.
those guys. That's why we got the other guys for that. We got big games, brother. Got big games.
Benfica in the juice boxes right now is a minus 303 at home. Famalicão, what do you think they are on the plus side?
4.5,
8-10.
8.
8-10.
Did these guys don't look at listen, Benfica, the 5 games that they drew, 3 at home. And against random teams like Santa Clara, like Gil Vicente, who else did there? What was the other one? I forgot the other one. Benfica's not doing great at home, brother. Benfica's not doing great at home, especially with teams like this, especially with Famalicão that is coming on fire with Gustavito Sá and company. So I want to put money on Famalicão, brother. Jesus,
Well,
how much is the draw?
Plus 397. So basically a plus 400.
Deal. Sign me up for that.
All right. And
sign me up for that.
Sporting on the road at Vitória Guimarães on Tuesday. They are a minus 233 as a road favorite. Draws a plus 345 in the composite, courtesy of our friends at Odds Portal. Vitória Guimarães at home, a plus 607.
Come on, Sporting, you can get this one done. Vitória Guimarães is not a good, and it's not in a good spot this year. They dismantled the team. They took so many players. They took the coach. The players resigned. They're not in. Oh, Vitória, man, poor you, Vitória. I think Sporting is gonna crush them. I think Sporting is gonna put 3 goals on them easily.
Okay.
Away. The Sporting is really a tough team when they're playing away from home too, man.
Okay. 7 days from now is Christmas Day. Obviously, we are not having a show. What are you up to either on the 24th? What are you up to either on Wednesday or Friday?
I want to say Friday.
Okay.
I'll sign for Friday because I haven't told you about my business. Did I, Johnny? I got my business here. I'm Nino the Baker, brother. Nino the Baker. I'm baking things like crazy. So I got lots of orders for the 23rd, 24th, the 25th. So I'm loaded. I'm loaded on those days. Man. I want to see your pictures, bro. I want to see your pictures.
Fully loaded on baking is what you're up to. Okay. So then what you do when you come on the 26th on Friday morning at 10 Eastern, you got to show us some of the Nino Damas baking. You got to flash. You got to show it off now.
Of course, bro. You guys can follow me on Instagram, Nino the Baker. Check it out on Instagram. You're gonna like it, bro.
Whoa, Nino the Baker on Instagram.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm
check it
ready.
out, man. It's
Okay.
been,
All right. So
yeah.
now
You
you're
have
gonna
some talents, man.
you're gonna have
Talents on the kitchen, man.
staring at baked goods and get me all hungry and ish. Merry Christmas, my friend. We love you very much, and we can't wait to catch up with you as we always do. Be safe, and may the dog dad get everything that he's looking for Christmas that Santa drops in under the tree, and we will catch up with you next week, next Friday, my friend. And like I said, love you, and just be safe, okay?
Merry Christmas to you and everyone in the Soccer Down Here Network, guys. Thank you for having me. Also a pleasure, and God bless you all, man.
All right, be good. There goes Nino Torres. He's fully loaded, and I believe me, he is fully loaded. Nino the Baker. I got to check this out real quick. Niko Moreno joining us in a couple of minutes. All right, so let's go to Instagram. We're going to the IG, and now now that they've added like new like symbols and everything, I'm like, am I hitting the right button? So Nino if I could spell the with my fat fingers, there it is, Nino the Baker. Oh, okay. Oh, see, all right. Now he's dealing with chocolate. See, this ain't right. See, I'm going to follow Nino the Baker now on the IG. So he's now he's using our Chinese overlord's cap cut to show off his man. That is some crazy gorgeous looking chocolate cake. Now I'm not jealous or nothing. All right, so Nino the Baker, cross the midnight threshold, chocolate cake. See, chocolate cake, man. That's just not fair. And he's dealing with a lot. There's a lot of chocolate here. There's a lot of chocolate at Nino the Baker on Instagram. So literally, you could gain 5 pounds just looking at what he's baking. Not making me jealous or nothing either. Goodness. So literally, chocolate. There's like chocolate here, chocolate here. There's cake there, chocolate there, chocolate there. So in the first 9 entries going backward, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 that are chocolate, 2 that are dessert, 1 that I'd have to play. Oh no, actually, then there's 1 where he's talking about chocolate. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 talking about or showing chocolate, 6, 7, 8 showing desserts, and 1 that is a helado de choco. Okay, so National Ice Cream Day. Man, I mean, this is just not fair. So all right, so Nino the Baker is dealing with a lot of chocolate. Not that there's anything wrong with that. So at Nino the Baker on the IG, the Insta, or the Gram, as the kids say these days. That's just crazy. Nino the Baker. I did not know that he baked. This literally, in all the time that we've known each other, this is the first time that I've known that he bakes. And now I'm freaking jealous because he's not like down the road or nothing. Hey, I got a chocolate cake. You want to try it? I'm messing with the ingredients. You want to come and check the chocolate cake out? You want free dessert? Come on over. Come on over, Johnny. No, I don't get any of that because I'd have to hop on a flight on Delta down to Lima. And if he tried to ship it, he'd have to freeze it. And then if he shipped it frozen, then you would have to hope that when you thaw it out, it keeps the same kind of constitution that Nino the Baker wants to have with his baked goods. And I doubt very seriously it would probably get lost in the freezing. Unless you like literally just freeze dried the thing and just froze it within an inch of its life to try to freeze everything in and you overnight. See, now this, okay, here's what we do. When Nino the Baker turns into this massive South American just juggernaut, what's the overnight shipping thing that they do with food where you can get like Gold Belly? Nino goes on Gold Belly and becomes like one of the dessert hubs on Gold Belly. So you go on Gold Belly, you know, like we go on Gold Belly, the boss and I, and we'll get like Lombardo's pizza out of Chicago and you get it shipped. You get it shipped to the house. Nino the Baker goes on Gold Belly and then turns that into something that he can ship from Lima in and around South America, stage 1. So literally anybody in South America, I mean, you could be in Manaus, Brazil, in the middle of nowhere, and you're looking on Insta or you're looking on Gold Belly and you're going, I need this plane to leave Rio and fly into Manaus and get me Nino the Baker's chocolate cake. If they have Gold Belly in South America, here's the hook. Seriously, with all of his desserts that he makes and all the chocolate that he's making them with. Nino's chocolate cakes on Gold Belly in South America. I need to see this happen. And then when he takes over South America, then he goes up into Central America. And then we figure out how to get something, whatever the fastest flight is on Delta out of South America up to Atlanta, considering that we are the busiest airport in the world. Just ask us. Literally, this is where the world domination for Nino the Baker happens. He gets on Gold Belly in South America, and the takeover starts from there. Literally, it is just this wave of chocolate. Screw Willy Wonka. This is the wave of chocolate that we have with Nino the Baker, and he takes over the dessert world one continent at a time. This is what we do here. We are nothing if not helping out humanity. Nino's chocolate cake goes on Gold Belly. That's the answer. No, David, David was wondering if I was just assuming that his only interest was football. And this is also true, David. It sounds like SDH South America visit has to happen. It absolutely does. No, I mean, I would have loved it. We get to the point to where we're, at the Copa Sudamericana final, and it just happens to be in Lima, Peru. Because you do that this year, but Nino was like, "Nah, man, too much traffic. I live 4 miles from there, and I couldn't get there." So, I mean, literally, he had a championship game on the continent in his town, and he didn't go because of how crazy it was to get there. Don't get me wrong. I would love to go to the Maracanã. I would love to go. I would love to go to some of the great stadia in South America if we could pull that off. If we had like an SDH South American roadie, that would be beyond amazing. We should probably hook up with one of those tour companies, where it's like, well, it's 7 days or 8 nights, 7 days, 8 nights in South America, and you get to go see this. You go to the Bombonera, go to, oh man, that would be just so amazing. See, now we're planning travel now. This is the cool stuff. All right, it is 7:37 on the West Coast, which means it's bright and before early, which means that it's also time to catch up with our friend Niko Moreno from Pulso Sports and Sounder at Heart. We bring him in. We find out what cup of coffee he's on. Oh, look at that. It's all shiny and everything going on back there. Oh, he's got the Pulse rocking. He knows what's going on. What cup of coffee are you on, sir?
Hey, what's going on, John? That's cup number 2.
Okay.
And it's hitting just right. We're coming to you live from very rainy, stormy weather here in the PNW. But there is a ray of sunshine for the Sounders fan base that came across this week. So I'm just ready to talk Sounders, talk MLS moves, some pretty interesting ones, I would add. So I'm sure you got it all on the script there, Big John.
Yeah, here's my script, by the way. Yeah, right there. we found out that Nino bakes, and he bakes a lot of chocolate cakes and stuff. And so now we're following him on Instagram, and he's making us all hungry.
Look at that.
Nino, yeah,
I cook, I don't bake.
Nino the Baker on the Insta, and literally it's like the first 9 entries, like 6 of them have to do with chocolate, either cake or ice cream, and I'm like, man, why you want to play that game with me? Especially this time of the day. I do want to get into a lot of stuff, the MLS, because this is my first day back from high school football championships, and I'm running on about 4 hours of sleep. I see things, and you're the guy that I need to ask about them. Let's start in Seattle. You mentioned that there might be a breakthrough in the negotiations involving Paul Rothrock. Give us the status report on the Sounders, ins, outs, negotiations, table seats, the whole thing.
Yeah, look, this is one that I've been chasing around all of the offseason. And I did put a lot of resources on it because I thought that it was going to be a pivotal move for the Sounders. And that is because if they were to move on from a guy like Paul Rothrock, they'd have to go replace him, and they'd have to really zero in on a winger that could provide everything that he provides. The depth in that position without him was looking a bit shaky. So I just think it's a phenomenal move, right? Paul Rothrock did it his own way. I think that he tested the market the way he wanted to test it. He talked to a lot of teams. There was a lot of interest for Paul Rothrock. I think that at the end of the day, the offer that was on the table, that number that was given by the Sounders after it was all said and done, was probably pretty fair or pretty average to what he got to see out there. And at the end of the day, this is a good situation for Paul Rothrock. This is the best situation. You have a coach that trusts you, you have a fan base that loves you, you have a system that works, and you have a team that's going to be a protagonist playing for big tournaments, big cups, right? San Jose was one of the teams that was there at the end, most interested, advanced conversations. There seemed to be a fit to the coach, to the system as well. But does San Jose really have that sort of elite level? Not really, right? I mean, they're not playing CONCACAF Cup the way the Sounders are. As much as Bruce has done phenomenal to get that team upright and put them in the right mentality and get them close to the playoffs, they still seem to be a reach to get there next season. And because of that, I just think that Paul Rothrock assessed all of the potential offers and decided, I want to come back to Seattle. And I think it benefits both the club and the player. I think both of them are extremely excited that this is what's going to happen. So yes, this is actually finalized. This is getting pushed through. I had reported that a multi-year contract was expected to be reached. I believe that that has happened. And we should be hearing official word, if not this week, Monday. So I'm definitely excited to tell the fans that, it was 95% sure yesterday. It is all the way to 100 now. So it is without a doubt a good move for the Sounders.
I know that we were looking like somewhere in the 800. I think that was the number that you and I were looking at initially. Any clue if that's the ballpark that they are in when it comes to dropping a number on Paul's contract? Any clue?
No, I believe that's a great question, by the way, because it is important to clarify that as far as I know, the contract is still on the Sounders' terms. That number to me, and this is a educated guess, falls around the $650,000 mark with some escalators and bonuses that would potentially compensate him beyond that. But there was no need to go and pass that limit, that line that the Sounders set from the very beginning. I've said in a couple of shows that Craig Weibel, he has his good things, he has his bad things, and one thing that he does take very seriously is being straightforward with the players. So I'm pretty sure that he said, look, this is what we can offer you, this is what it is, and go test the market, and if you can't find a better offer, the doors open. And I think that's what happened.
And there was a link to San Jose, nothing concrete there when it comes to finding a new home, but it looks like Paul Rothrock is staying. Messi and friends. Sergio Reguilon, and this is me going back into the weekend. Sergio Reguilon linked, and it looks like he's going to be added to the stacks. And then we saw that Rocco Rios Novo's loan was not coming back in 26. And everybody was kind of scratching their head and going, okay, that was a head scratcher. And then we see the news that Dane St. Clair tells Minnesota no. And then we see 1 + 1 = 2, where Dane St. Clair ends up going to Messi and friends. And so now you have near a deal. I don't think there's anything official yet, but it looks like Dane St. Clair is going to be the new number 1 in Fort Lauderdale. They open the new park, so it's going to be DSC. It's going to be Ustari. They've already sent William Yarborough packing, and Rocco Rios Novo won't be back. So now we know why Rocco was out. It looks like DSC is coming in.
This was a surprise,
Mm.
and it feels like a power move, almost a statement move from Inter Miami. I don't want to glaze them the way, certain, local
Yeah.
media members are kind of talking about the team and what it's doing. But the move it's a power move. They're telling the league, look, we don't have to just go out there and get the international players. We don't have to get the big names around the world. We know what MLS has in store, and we know that every team in MLS that needed a goalkeeper and had deep enough pockets and resources within the cap structure wanted Dane St. Clair. And if we want him, we got him. And he will come even if he's taking a pay cut because he knows what Inter Miami provides. And I think that's fair. There is obviously the Messi factor. And that's something that we cannot ignore. You wanting to play with arguably the greatest player in soccer world history is always gonna be a factor. But I do believe that there is this narrative now with Inter Miami that they have become this really big showcase across the world, right? You look at the Diego Gomez move, the Kromaski move. There's interest for a guy like Bright from international teams. So when you go to Miami and you're in that stage and you have a team that now has all of this global eyes on, it's very easy for you to get noticed. So St. Clair is in every right to say, look, I'm not going to take the $1 million that I'm being offered here in Minnesota. I want to go play with the greatest player of all time. I want to be able to be in this huge stage. I want to be with Javier Mascherano. I want to be in Miami. I want to try to get a ring. They are the champs. They have the recruiting weapons and all of the resources in the world. So I'm going to go there. And that is a power move. I do believe that is a statement from Inter Miami saying we can do it all. And that includes getting the guys that we want within the league. But it was surprising, man. You thought that St. Clair, Minnesota was always going to be a thing. And if it wasn't, I don't know. I really didn't see Inter Miami as a team that would be interested in that sort of domestic MLS player because they've always been able to just get talent outside of MLS. But it's a phenomenal move. You get the best goalkeeper in MLS, a goalkeeper that is a winner, a goalkeeper that has the swag, the ability to just play that position differently. So it is a huge move. I do think that Inter Miami is showing the league that they can do whatever they want.
And I mean, but think about it. I mean, for a second, if you were Dane St. Clair and you had the choice to be in Minnesota, where literally at times it's like offensively it's like trying to watch paint dry, and I mean I probably am insulting painters to a certain degree by talking about what Minnesota United tries to do with Eric Ramsey, but Dane St. Clair sometimes with him it's a shooting gallery, and I mean it won't be any different with the shooting gallery unless they address the issues at the back in Fort Lauderdale. But really, what would you want to do? Would you want to be a part of the system in Minnesota where I think that there's a ceiling there? That there is a ceiling with Minnesota United, or when someone knocks on your door and sits there and goes, hey, do you want to, and you sit there and you point at Messi, you point at Luis Suarez, you sit there and you point at all the young talent, Allende and Silvetti and everybody there. And you go, well, you sit there. Well, hey, you see this team photo and, the fireworks and serpentine and everything. You got that, or you've got, quarter zip white t-shirt and I don't know, maybe 1-0 and an opportunity. It's like, to me, it's an easy choice if it's presented to you, if that team sits there and it's like they have that much faith in you, in your position within the league. And I think it speaks once again to what you're talking about within MLS. Players out there on a free. Dane St. Clair gets a 7-figure deal according to Andy Greeter. And it's like 7-figure deal to stay in Minnesota. Dane St. Clair's like, nah, fam, I'm good. And then knock on the door, Dane, Dane. And it's like, by Jorge Mas. Yeah, what do you want? We want you to come down. Okay. I mean, what, you're going to say no in that kind of a situation that they had that kind of faith in you? Look, Minnesota United, Messi and friends. To me, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah, no, and you have to use that if you're in Miami. Okay, first of all, it's a no-brainer for St. Clair because of everything that you just laid out. This is another team that's going to be playing for big tournaments, big titles, right? So you want that as part of what you're looking into the future. But Miami, again, is surprising because I think Chris Henderson left a footprint of understanding how to build a roster within MLS. And I was surprised that they were able to hold on to that footprint or that blueprint that he left out, because getting a guy like St. Clair with his potential at that salary, man, it's a hell of a move, right? It's a hell of a move and allows you to continue to get all of this talent from Spain and be able to go out there and look for perhaps another striker. I mean, you have so many options now by clearing that sort of space and getting the guy that everyone wanted. Look, when Carlos Coronel went to Orlando, I mean, that was a great move. And I was like, wow, that's a move that's very interesting. They're upgrading at a lower salary. That's a great move. In St. Clair, I wasn't even acknowledging as a possibility to go anywhere other than stay in Minnesota. And the fact that they were able to do that and put that as this pillar in the back end, that is very surprising. And you have to give credit to this Inter Miami team for not just the big stars, but again, that blueprint that was left by a guy like Chris Henderson, getting guys like the Ian Frays and the Noah Allens and bringing up guys like Bright, obviously Tata part of that as well. So they have done this really, really good job at building all these other co-stellar players that are going to be around the Messis and the Luis Suarez's of this team.
Sounder at Heart and Pulso Sports, our buddy Niko Moreno joining us here for Thursdays with Niko. DC United actually apparently is spending some money, which is kind of a stunner. They're bringing in Ty Baribo from Philadelphia, re-signed Luis Suarez down in Fort Lauderdale. San Diego gets Lewis Morgan from Red Bulls, as a part of all of the shifting that's going on here in the offseason. This broke this morning. Whitecaps re-signed Takaoka, and that was an integral piece for them to make sure that they could keep him between the sticks. They also signed a homegrown defender, Mihail Gerasimenkov. It's an extra syllable in there. Seattle signs Ryan Saylor. Villarreal gets transferred to Brazil. Brian Acosta goes to Nashville. So there is some rearranging of deck chairs here when it comes to all of these other transfers that have kind of been coming across the board. Has any of them stuck out to you in any way?
Yeah, look, Morgan to San Diego's good business. I mean, they get him basically for nothing. He's a guy that could fill a lot of positions. He could play the 9 under their system. He could play a little wide. He's interchangeable when he comes to the way they attack. He's good in transition. And clearly, the Red Bulls are in almost a last year Dallas fire sale of just getting rid of guys, and San Diego was able to capitalize. The Ty Baribo one, I don't love. I get it. I understand it. But he seems to be a system guy, and I don't know how much of the same quality of services and opportunities you're going to get with DC United. I feel like there was a lot of other holes to fill, and Benteke replacement wasn't necessarily the number one, in my opinion. It comes at a good price, and he does have proven capability and productivity within MLS, but he's a little bit of a poacher. I mean, that's his style, right? He's a guy that's a fox in the box, and you got to get him the ball there. He is not as dominant or a striker that can create his own goals the way Benteke did. So there is going to be a little bit of a learning curve or a change stylistically for you to be able to give Baribo that sort of chances. As I mentioned, I really like the Coronel one to Orlando City. You get a proven guy, a guy that is a Paraguay national team, someone that clearly is coming from a good year with New York City Red Bulls. He was right behind St. Clair in my voting for goalkeeper of the year. I believe that he continues to get better. So that was a good move, replacing a guy like Pedro Galese that now is going to Deportivo Cali in Colombia. That one was interesting because you and I had talked here. I don't see a market for Pedro Galese within MLS, not for what he's asking for, and not with the free agents that were in the market, and not with kind of this new developing free agency within MLS. So that one was a good one. The one I'm looking forward to is what happens with Andres Cubas. Look, the Sounders were able to get a guy like a Sonny Dotson, and we'll see how much they'll be paying on salary for that move. But when you have a guy like Andres Cubas out there, I would love to say, hey, look, if the Sounders had the money, the capability to go out there and get themselves a Cubas or a Berhalter, it'd be amazing. But I really do think that he's going to be going elsewhere. Paranaense has been very serious about getting Andres Cubas, and I think that's going to be a big determining factor for Vancouver. He was such a key component. He was such a key guy. Those two pivots for Vancouver have been so important that I feel like it'd be really hard to replace him. So we'll see where that ends. But Vancouver is a team that I'm really watching because they need to keep all their pieces, including guys like Jaden Nelson, who, as much as they didn't play a lot of times, they were important coming off the bench. And if those guys go, then Vancouver needs to get out there and be aggressive in the market to replace those guys. So I really do think that those two players, when it comes to Berhalter and Cubas, are two guys that I have my eye on and could be a domino effect to what Vancouver needs to do in the offseason.
Okay, and the Baribo was for $4,000 in league and another $600,000 in performance-based metrics. Barrial's going to Santos. Cade Cowell signs a 1-year deal with Red Bulls
That's a good one.
From Chivas with a 27 purchase option. And as a part of the deal, San Jose gets $50,000. It gets some change between the sofa cushions, basically $50,000 in GAM for next year. The Morgan deal, $525 and 27 GAM. So Morgan with $525 and 27 GAM for $450,000 and 26 GAM, a conditional $650 for performance-based metrics, and a 2027 number 3. You mentioned Jonathan Bell goes to Austin for 2.5 years. June 28 includes an option for 28-29. Peter Stroud traded to Minnesota from Red Bulls. Djordjevic signs a 1-year deal. This is one, and Brenner goes to Udinese. This is one we haven't touched on yet. Jacob Glesnes to LAG from Philly with homegrown priority for Jameer Johnson for $500,000 in GAM next year, a conditional $600,000 in 27 GAM, and a sell-on fee. So Glesnes goes from LA to Philly. Jacob Glesnes, by all accounts, he didn't know that was going down.
That's a smart move from the LA Galaxy. They were abysmal last season defensively. They were almost hard to watch. Garces' digression was as bad as I've ever seen a player have a bad second year within MLS. You needed a guy that was going to come in, be a leader, have a high floor and a high ceiling, someone that could affect the game both defensively and offensively in set pieces. And I think you get that with Glesnes. I think that it was a phenomenal move by the Galaxy, smart by Greg Vanney to understand that was a place of need. And I think they steal somebody from Philadelphia who now is going to be looking in the market. And I would think that they'll probably go to Red Bulls. I think Niels would be a guy that they could potentially go out there and get, but it's a big move for the Galaxy, one that was needed, necessary, and I expect a couple of other moves there on the defensive end to a team that needs to shore those gaps in the dam, because they were an open dam completely.
That was ugly at times to watch. A couple of other minor moves are being discussed. I do want to get into the idea of the divisions that might be coming up. I want to get into that in a second. Looks like Osman Bukhari might be moving to Vidjev Luj. 4+9.
Yeah, that's done as far as I know.
Okay, so finalizing a deal, Bukari to Wijewluj in the Ekstraklasa. Basically, that means he's going to Wijewluj in the Polish First Division, as I try to sit there and actually name the name of the First Division. Yeah, literally. Brooklyn Reigns, the Revs finalizing a deal for Brooklyn Reigns in a trade with Dynamo, reuniting with his U20 head coach, Marko Mitrovic. So that's another interesting one, and it looks like Houston's going to get 1.6 plus another 400,000 in add-ons from New England for Reigns. It's a straight-up cash deal, and then Reigns goes to the U22s for Mitrovic, so it doesn't count the same as it would as a regular roster spot. So that was another two that you kind of keep an eye on just for filling out rosters. But it's a big investment, 1.6 plus another 400 for New England to pick up Brooklyn Reigns from Houston. Now I wonder what Houston's going to do with that 1.6, or are they just going to sit on it? That would be my next question.
No, they have a lot of interest in boosting that roster, and there are going to be more moves coming in. I know that they've talked to several players in the free agency that haven't necessarily cemented into a guy that's going to go to that team, but Houston is being very aggressive, both abroad and within MLS, to fill up a lot of positions. So I have no doubt that they're going to be able to fill in those gaps. Houston is a team that is in a real desperate need to keep up with the rest of the Western Conference. Otherwise, they're going to end up and find themselves with the spoon. I mean, they could be one of the worst teams if they don't really put it together. There are pieces. There are interesting pieces on the offensive end, but you just don't have a collective unit. And I feel like that's where this Houston team is willing to go out there and get some TAM guys and really shore up that team.
This came across yesterday in various forms. Tenorio and Bogert spearheading it over at The Athletic. I still can't call it the New York Times. The Athletic with Tenorio and Bogert. MLS's new 5-division format, likely to include a Midwest division that pulls from the Eastern Conference and the Western Conference, but it looks like it may split some of the rivalries outside of these respective divisions. And so new regular season format beginning in 27, part of the changes that are going on, including flipping the calendar and all that kind of stuff. No final decision has been made on divisions, both T&B report. Most likely proposal. San Jose would not play in the same division as LAG, LAFC, and San Diego. DC would separate from their Northeast rivals in New York and Philadelphia. San Jose would instead play in a division with Cascadia, as well as RSL in Colorado. The Southern California teams would be in a division with the 3 Texas teams. DC United gets grouped with teams in the Southeast, which really makes no sense for the sake of rivalry. And the Northeastern teams get grouped with Toronto and Montreal. That I get. So here's how the divisions would allegedly look. Portland, Seattle, Vancouver, San Jose, RSL, Colorado. LAG, LAFC, San Diego, Austin, Houston, Dallas. Chicago, Minnesota, St. Louis City, Sporting, Cincinnati, and Crew. CF Montreal, Toronto, the Revs, the Red Bulls, NYCFC, and Philadelphia. DC, Nashville, Atlanta, Charlotte, Messi and Friends, and the Purple Team. The league has discussed other potential groupings, including one that would keep the 4 California teams together and group Cascadia with Texas, which makes even less sense. The league, however, once again putting heavy consideration into equitable travel for divisions where possible. You play division opponents twice, one home and one away. Play every other league opponent once, rotating whether that matchup is home or on the road. Discussions remain ongoing as to whether the league debuts the divisional format in the summer 27 when they flip the calendar to go summer to spring, or whether they use that new division structure in the sprint season. They got to come up with a better name for that. That's going to run from February through May ahead of the calendar change. What do you think about this one?
It was always going to be tricky, and it was always going to prioritize primetime games and money, viewership, right? you want to try to keep those clásicos, those rivalries alive, and I think they're doing a decent job by keeping those. But they were always going to affect teams like San Jose, that they were always going to be the stepchild that was going to be kicked out of that grouping, because you want to keep it regional, but you want to keep it at a certain level, and that's why they end up being kicked out of that group of all the California teams. So these regional sort of groups, I think they're going to continue to be worked on as time goes along. There's going to be this is the way we're going to set it up, and there's going to be problems, and there's going to be some sort of adjustments that are going to come to, in my opinion, the way it happens across sports in the United States that have those regional in conferences and all those situations. We know that's coming up, but I like it. For what it's worth, for what it is, with the pros and cons of switching the calendar, of changing the format, of making sure that you are growing as a league. It does feel a little bit, I hate to use the word, but like American, right? With the divisions, but it's the only way that you could really do it and continue to get this league to, with as many teams as they have, make sure that all teams play each other, make sure that you keep some of those rivalries. So there are more pros than cons with all of the flipped and all of the changes that are happening. So I like it. And the reporting, obviously coming from Tom and Paul, might as well just be set in stone. So I really do think that that's the way it's going to look. But I have no doubt that at some point there's going to be some adjustments and moves if things don't work.
The word of the day will be tweak. We will not twerk, but tweak. That'll be the word of the day. What is going on at Pulso Sports and Sounder at Heart, my friend?
Oh, yes, of course. Go ahead and check out Sounder at Heart. We have a ton of new shows and podcasts because of the moves that have happened here in Seattle. We have one specific for Hassani Dotson coming to Seattle with Jeff Reuter, formerly of The Athletic. That's a really, really good one. I was a little bit skeptical about the move, and not skeptical to the point where I don't like it. I just wasn't awed by the acquisition, but he makes some really good points and was able to poke some holes in some of my concerns about Hassani Dotson. He's someone that has followed the team, followed the player. So that's a really interesting one. We're going to have another one today about this Paul Rothrock news. We haven't been able to get on it. We were on Lovin's Courts last night with the immediate reactions, but we're going to have some really good new information about Hassani Dotson and about Paul Rothrock in today's episode with Jeremiah O'Shan. So check out the Sounder at Heart podcast network. Check out the YouTube page for Sounder at Heart. You're going to find a lot of that. And then on Pulso Sports, we're not going to fall behind. We're going to get a couple of new interviews. And of course, we're going to do the rerun of this show. We weren't able to do it last week because the guy that runs the page is too busy doing other stuff. But now we're going to make sure that we get this one on the books and ready for everybody to check it out.
All right, so next week, obviously a week from today, Santa's bringing things into your stocking. So Wednesday or Friday, which would work better for you in the 10:30, 7:30?
Wednesday, for sure, Wednesday.
Well, then there we go. Christmas Eve day. That means it's going to be Wednesdays with Niko. I'm writing this down. So that means that Niko is at 10:30 on Wednesday, the 24th, Christmas Eve day. So then that way you get to race away and you get to pack everything. And you get to make sure that everything fits in the well-packaged Christmas wrapping paper, as always. Enjoy the last weekend of shopping before Christmas. I know that I will be doing a lot in front of the computer because Amazon will be my friend. Love you very much, and we will catch up with you Christmas Eve day and find out what's going on with you out there in the Pacific Northwest.
I'll be here, man. Thank you very much, man. SDH family, love y'all.
Okay, be good. We will see you on Wednesday. There goes the second cup of coffee. And that's it's always great to catch up with Niko because, I mean, like I said, I was in a black hole for like a week. And literally, it's like once the show ended on Friday, it was conference calls and making sure that everything was locked in and wrapped up for everything going on in high school. Abby, good morning. Good to see you. And morning, David. Yeah, so let's see. David and Abby, and I'm trying to see who else is here this morning. So Ricky and Nix and Dell and Rich. So good morning to all of you in the Twitch pitch, and good morning to all of you, however you are accessing us this morning. I'm trying to see if there's anybody else other than Vital Petit, the bot that came in, and we pretty much slapped that around. No, and David Ronaldo will not have an MLS Cup. He could have had one in Sporting at Kansas City if he chose to listen to Patrick Mahomes, but he did not. Morning, Abby, and I'm trying to see and shake everything else that's going on. Adele, thank you for the kind words. But yeah, the more obscure, the more retro, the better. I do have some minor league baseball ones. Maybe I can get away with wearing. I don't know if MILB will come chasing after me or not. But I might chase after those and wear those in short succession. All right, let's take the tour and let you know what's going on, what to watch, where to watch it, how to watch it, and all the things. So today, we have been kind of keeping an eye on what's been going on in Champions League and all that kind of stuff. The Arab Cup final is 10 minutes in. Morocco and Jordan, and you can also watch the Portuguese Cup at 2:45 and 3:45, Santa Clara and Sporting, and Porto and Famalicão. That is on BN and BN in Espanol. You can watch that at Fanatis, fntz.co/soccer down here. Helps them out, helps us out, helps you out. You can watch our buddy Nino Torres on GOLTV, TVV, TIC. It is Liga 1 Max Pro. It is all the BNs where you can watch the Polish league and watch Osman Bukhari playing for Widzew Łódź and all of the action there. They've added other leagues as well to go with their coverage of France and all of the other places that you can watch on BN. AFCON coming up, you can watch that on BN as well. And so let's see. CDO, Nuestra Tele, for the fans, TIC, TVV, all the BNs. We've seen Tigo Sports and Canal 4 and CATV pop up there as well. So you get all that stuff, and you get to watch Fanatis and be a great part of adding to your true demented nature of watching all the leagues around the planet. Okay. CBS Sports Network, Conference League today at 3 o'clock. Crystal Palace and KUPS is at 3. Fox Deportes has the Honduran Liga Nacional, Marathon and Platense at 8:30. ESPN Plus has the A-League at 2 and 3 matchups in the Copa del Rey. 2 of them at 1 o'clock. Orense and Athletic Club and Burgos and Getafe. Real Murcia and Real Betis is at 3. Paramount Plus is loaded. We'll go over juice boxes for Conference League in a bit. Supercoppa Italiana, Napoli and Milan is at 2. League 1, Reading and Luton Town is at 3. Conference League, all the matchups. Good Lord, there's all the matchups at 3 o'clock. ESPN Plus, the A-League is at 3 o'clock on your Thursday. So since they have mentioned what's going on, it is Conference League. So let's check Conference League out and see if there are any matchups and anything that we can learn about, like we did last time, where we got to find out that teams in Armenia can make it onto the Roots, powered by our friends at Nofo Brewing. So here's how it looks. Already going on, that's a Champions League. I don't need Champions League. Champions League, by the way, they're off for about the next month. So next go round for Champions League is going to be on the 20th of January. So Europa League next round for them is on the 22nd of January. Conference League is today. So all of the matchups at 3 o'clock. Wow, 18 matchups at 3 o'clock. Let's see if we can get through it. Favored, Larnaca at home against Shkengia. AEK Athens against Universitatea Craiova. AZ Alkmaar is a minus 278 hosting Jagiellonia Bialystok. Celje favored at home at minus 312 with Shelburne. Crystal Palace of minus 455 hosting KUPS at a plus 1113. Dinamo Kyiv favored at a plus 117 hosting Noah, our friends from Noah in Armenia. That is being played at the Motor Lublin Arena in Poland. Dinamo Kyiv a plus 117. Noah's a plus 211. Lausanne a plus 274 at home hosting Fiorentina and a minus 109. Legia Warsaw, who is still toward the bottom of the table in the Ekstraklasa, found out about them last week on the Roots. Minus 286 hosting Lincoln Red Imps at a plus 659. Mainz a minus 122 hosting Samson Sport a plus 295. Omonia Cyprus is a plus 174 at home to Rakov Shostakova, who's a plus 161. Rayo Vallecano minus 556 to Drita, who's a plus 1470. Shakhtar Donetsk, who is facing Rijeka at the Stadion Miejski Henryka Remana, once again in Poland. So Shakhtar Donetsk a -112 hosting Rijeka at a +334. Shamrock Rovers a -122 against Hamrun, a +361. Sigma Olomouc a +202 hosting Lech Poznan, a +150. Slovan Bratislava +169 hosting FB Haken, a +140. Sparta Prague a -526 hosting Aberdeen, a +1235. Strasbourg a -556 hosting Breidablik at a +1159. Zrinjski -109 hosting SK Rapid Vienna, +283. So that's your rundown of everything Conference League. Obviously, we'll talk about that tomorrow as we get you ready for the weekend. 10 o'clock, we are going to have the new chairman of the NPSL on. Kenny Farrell has stepped down from the position. We're going to have the new guy in charge coming to visit 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, and we'll find out about what his vision is for the NPSL, as the season's really only about 4 months away in some parts of the country. So we'll catch up with them at 10 o'clock, and that'll get you started for your weekend with all of the things that are going on in the world. Let me double check news and let me see if there's anything that we might have missed. It looks like apparently Manchester City's kind of plotting. There's a thought that it might be Pep Guardiola's last year, so they might be making a move for Enzo Maresca. So we'll keep an eye on that. Saudi Arabia, according to The Guardian, Saudi Arabia's 2034 World Cup stadium plans are facing delays in cost cutting. And we'll keep an eye on all of that, trying to see if there's anything news-wise. Apparently in soccer, the Blues are told to put up or shut up, meaning Chelsea, over a potential move to Earl's Court. The club is yet to make a decision on how to build a bigger ground. Jacob Steinberg at The Guardian, a £10 billion housing and retail bid for a site was approved this week. They've been urged to put up or shut up, decide whether they want to move to Earl's Court after alternative plans for the site were approved by Kensington and Chelsea Council. Club are yet to make a decision on how to build a bigger ground, and another stumbling block is in their path after the Earl's Court Development Company's proposals for the £10 billion housing retail development granted planning permission at a council meeting on Tuesday. The ECDC, whose master plan does not include room for a football stadium, secured unanimous approval from Hammersmith and Fulham Council last month. And so also the UK has given Roman Abramovich a final warning to transfer the £2.5 billion into the Ukraine fund that he has been asked to do repeatedly. Jessica Elgott, deputy political editor for The Guardian, says, has Keir Starmer saying that he has to commit the funds from the sale of the Chelsea Football Club or face court action. They've given their final warning, so it's the final finger wag to Roman Abramovich to release that £2.5 billion from his sale of Chelsea to give to Ukraine, telling the billionaire to release the funds within 90 days or face court action. Starmer told the House of Commons the funds, who is subject to from Abramovich, who is subject to UK sanctions, would be converted into a new foundation for humanitarian causes in Ukraine, and that the issuing of a license for the transfer was the last chance Abramovich would have to comply. Move comes on the eve of the EU summit, where leaders will be urged to agree to use Russia's frozen assets to provide Ukraine with a €90 billion loan. Starmer has a quote. And once again, remember, Abramovich sold Chelsea in 2022 under pressure from the British government after the invasion of Ukraine, granted a license from the UK government to sell Chelsea as long as the money was spent supporting the victims of the Ukraine war. Proceeds placed in a UK bank account controlled by Abramovich's company, Fordstam. Since then, the money's been frozen amid deadlock in negotiations with Abramovich on whether it should be spent exclusively in Ukraine or can go outside the country as well, specifically to Russia. Abramovich is understood to have been given 3 months before the government commences legal action, and the Liberal Democrats have called for the time to be curtailed, saying the billionaire should be given only until the end of the month to transfer the funds. Billionaire has said that he wants the money to go to all victims of the war in Ukraine and has demanded that Russians also benefit from the proceeds. Abramovich must take necessary steps to establish the foundation and arrange the transfer in accordance with the license. And then a couple of quotes. Announcing the new license, the Chancellor, Rachel Reeves, said it was unacceptable, quote, that more than £2.5 billion owed to the Ukrainian people can be allowed to remain frozen in a UK bank account. It's time for Roman Abramovich to pay up. If he doesn't act, then we're prepared to do what is necessary to make sure that the money gets to the Ukrainian people, end quote. Ministers emphasized they tried for many years to agree to terms and get Abramovich's cooperation. Keir Starmer said the government was prepared to take Abramovich to court in order to access the money. Guardian reported back in March, ministers believed ultimately legal action was likely needed. Government has said it would consider any proposal from Abramovich to voluntarily donate the funds to Ukraine. Move comes as Volodymyr Zelensky said proposals negotiated with the U.S. on a peace deal could soon be completed. So keep an eye on that. Let's take a peek at all the other places and all the other things, as they say. Manchester United is only going to consider an exceptional bids for Kobe Mainu in January. Also, it is the news that we're talking about Enzo Maresca. Maresca, according to The Athletic, among the candidates being considered to succeed Pep Guardiola. Current deal with City runs through 27, being reported the club are making contingency plans for when Guardiola steps away. Folks are predicting Maresca's future, that he'll take over, but would he be sacked by Chelsea first? Spurs are open to letting Brennan Johnson leave if they get a suitable offer, according to the BBC. Report says Crystal Palace, the club most advanced in their interest of the 24-year-old. Tottenham signed Johnson in the summer of 23 from Forest for £47.5 million. West Ham have confirmed head coach Rhiannon Skinner has left the club with immediate effect on the women's side. She'd been in charge since July of 23. Lost their first 7 games of the season. Picked up 5 points in the last 4 games. Currently 11th in the WSL table. 2 points above bottom side Liverpool, who they drew 2-2 with back in January. Keith Andrews at Brentford said they'll only do January business if it's right. We're working collaboratively to strengthen and tweak. But equally, if it's not right, quote, we won't do it. Luis Guilherme wants to stay at West Ham, fight for his position, according to Chris Reedy from Sky Sports. 19-year-old wingers made 5 appearances, 3 under Nuno. Hasn't been included in their last 3 matchday squad signed for West Ham in June of 24 for £25 million. West Ham interested in Fulham's Adama Traore, with a new winger being one of the priorities in the window. Crystal Palace's Oliver Glasner says he expects to keep Mark Gahey. And also Crystal Palace expects to keep Oliver Glasner. They haven't really had contract talks, but they're kind of getting there. From Mark McAdam, Kave Solikal, Bournemouth plotting more moves because of the interest in Antoine Semenyo. They might have the funds to do it. Hierarchy of the club happy with recruitment and evolution. They want to add more to the group. Keeper, winger, defender, all being looked at. Kepa replaced by Georgi Petrovic. They want to recruit again if possible. Someone that can challenge Petrovic for the number 1. Fully aware with the links surrounding Semenyo. Release clause stood to be around £60 million. Replacing him like for like would be impossible. They know that going in. Crystal Palace now actively looking in the January market for right wing-back options in the wake of Daniel Munoz's injury. Requires surgery on a knee problem. Could be out for an extended period as he recovers. Second choice to Munoz is Nathaniel Klein, but Klein is 34. Out of contract at the end of the year. They also have 19-year-old Rio Cardenas, made his senior debut in Conference League, remains relatively inexperienced. Let's see. Alfie Harrison, 2 championship clubs are interested in getting him from Newcastle. Joined in February 24 for Manchester City, but he's only featured so far for Newcastle's U21. Contract expires in the summer. Kave Solikal says Al Hilal not guaranteed to make another move for Bruno Fernandes next summer, especially because the club is about to be bought by billionaire investor Prince Al-Walid bin Talal. Al-Walid bin Talal. Al Hilal currently majority owned by the PIF. Prince Al-Walid's takeover could lead to the value of the club up at 2 billion rials, or just under £400 million. One of Saudi Arabia's biggest clubs, could be privately owned for the first time. Portuguese interview released on Monday night. Fernandes says he believes United were happy to sell him to Al Hilal last summer, decided against making the move after talks with his family. So there's that. Pep has also ruled out a January move for James Trafford. Trafford not leaving Manchester City in January, according to Pep Guardiola, despite the keeper becoming unsettled months into his return. That's from Lyle Thomas at Sky. So keep an eye on that one as well. So that is a rundown of some of the things that are going on. So we'll keep an eye on all of that once again tomorrow. See if we can catch up with folks one more time before we get into the Christmas holiday. But yes, 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, the new chairman of the NPSL is going to join us, and we're going to break down things there and find out what the vision is for the NPSL going forward. So thanks to Nino, thanks to Nico, thanks to Liam Fox, thanks to Sporting Jax, and thanks to you for dropping by as you always do. It's another go-round of SDH AM here on the SDH Network. Mucha Platiel, play it safe. We'll be back in a little less than 22, and since it is the end of the show, means I get to do this. Be back at it again, once again, 9:05 a.m. Eastern time tomorrow for another go-round on a Freestyle Friday of SDH AM. Be good all.